everybody. Excited Utterance here. My name's Hella, and I have Seraph. He's in a little bit of a bad mood. Yeah, okay. Oh, okay. Yeah. I don't want to annoy him too much. I think. Oh, just a second. Okay. Yeah. All right. Everything's okay. I don't want to get bitten too badly. Hello. Welcome everybody. Welcome everybody. Yes, we're having one of these chitty chat streams, which we haven't had for a little while. Welcome everybody. Cowpoke is very early, and she's saying Lawtube is a genre, not a club. It is true. And TrialTube, watching the watchers, as Robert G likes to say. I don't know who Robert G is. Anyway, over here, it's hard for me to keep up with all the names that you guys have. Hello, Chat and EU. Hello, Christine. Good to see you. Good to see you. Josie. Good to see you, Josie. Welcome. Thank you for being here. What's the D word? Well, we're not allowed to say the D word. We're not allowed to say it, but it will become clear very shortly. Become clear very shortly. And the problem with TrialTube is that people will say TrailTube. Yeah, it's very often misspelled. Very often misspelled. Oh, he's a lawyer who focuses on Trump trials. Oh, okay. Hello, Wicked Wookie. Good to have you here. Lovely. And it's been lovely having you on in chats recently. Lovely to have you around. You're a cool chatter. Cool chatter. Are you live, Hella? I am live. Not sure about live, but definitely live. Is this live? Yes, it is. It depends when you catch it, though. If you're here on rewatch, not so much. That's okay, though. And yes, the Dali people are coming over now. You struggle spelling his last name. Yeah. Mr. Sex. No, it's not Mr. Sex. That's an old joke. That's an old joke. We do have Fire Ds in chat. All right. So we'll just wait for people to come in, and then I will explain a little bit about what the topic of this this live is. So okay. The D word. The D word. I remember a little while ago when the Hales thing was just like really at its peak. And Dali went into someone's stream, and I won't name who. He went into someone's stream, into the chat, and he said he stuck up for David. I remember him sticking up for David. And he said, did you know that David's channel is being copyright struck and it's about to be taken down because it hadn't been taken down yet? And yeah, did you know this? And the person streaming said, we don't do the D word here, bro. And yeah, we don't do drama here. D. We don't do that here, bro. And so it's such a minefield when you get called out like that for being the person who's creating drama, right? Because here on YouTube, if you are someone who is perpetuating drama, D being drama, then you're seen to be this big troublemaker. You are rocking the boat in this huge way. And you can't be rocking the boat. You can't be someone who is creating drama, can you? Now, remember, yes, drama does suck, Ghost. Absolutely, it does suck. But here's the problem, right? Here's the problem. What is drama and what is actually just people having a conversation, people trying to solve a problem? What's the difference? Okay, so what is the actual difference? So now that day, Dali was not causing any drama. He was simply sticking up for his friend. That's it. That's my opinion anyway. Okay. Now, Josie, you were one of the people who was sticking up for David during that period of time. I remember there was a few of us who were sticking up for David and were going, look, it's just not right. Now, were we causing drama? I don't think so. And yes, Darlie, this is exactly what was said. No drama, love you, brother, but no drama, love you, brother. Yeah, that was what was said. And so he was being called out on a stream. And I'm not going to say who because I don't want to create drama. Right. But he was being called out on a stream for causing drama. Right. And that made him look bad. Because the last thing you want is to be the perpetuator of drama. So this D word, it's really like a cancer. It's like one of these words that you just want to avoid. You don't want to be having a drama stream. You don't want to be perpetuating it in any way whatsoever. And it sucks, right? Because once you're seen to be someone who is starting drama, having a stream about drama, talking about drama, in the middle of drama, then you are monetizing it. You're one of them. You're one of them. So what's the difference between drama and just trying to solve a problem? It's tricky, isn't it? It's tricky. And so that's what I want to talk about just a little bit. And that's why I called it the D word, because the second that I say that it's about drama, I'm having a drama stream. Because you just can't say it. You can't even say it. Right? You can't even say it. You can't even say it. Okay, so let's have a look at some chats. D word. Yikes. Yeah, well, I wasn't gonna. It's not that kind of D. Yeah. DUI guy lives in drama. Look, there's that other kind of drama. All right. So there's the kind of drama which is actually kind of like what I was talking about when I went onto David's stream the other day, and I was talking about Lynette and John, and I was there with Shara and Bruce, the lawyer, and I'm not sure who the other lady was, the umbrella gal, and Sean was there. And I was talking about how a huge amount of people have been following Jeremy Hales and George, and the whole drama that has been created around all of that stuff with the court cases. And really, they've all latched onto what's really become like a reality TV series on YouTube. And the bad guys are Lynette and John, or as they like to call them, John Crook and Lynette. And the biggest problem with that is they're not celebrities, they're not public figures, they're just people. No one knows what it's like to be them. No one has walked a mile in their shoes. No one knows if they're crazy or if they've really, like, they haven't done anything that makes them, that puts them in the firing line for the kind of attacks that they have received from thousands and thousands of people. And I was on that stream the other day and I just said, guys, why are people making fun of these people? What makes this funny? Why, Jeremy, are you punching down at these people? Now, then you've got the streamers who are jumping on board with that. And to me, that's drama streaming. To me, that's drama streaming. So there's that kind of drama. But then you've got the kind of drama that you see happening between streamers, right? And that to me feels like content creators becoming the content. And that's a little bit of a different kind of drama. And I don't ever want to be part of that myself. I would rather not be involved in anything like that. Okay. Lawtube. I remember that creator just didn't want to make the house peeps mad. Lots of people don't want to make them mad, and I get that, because once you make them mad, then they come after you, and you end up, unfortunately, in a situation kind of like David's in, where you lose your channel. Especially if you've been running their content. I don't have even 1 second of their content on my channel, and I never will, because reasons, clear reasons. Okay. I was called out by the same streamer for thinking Hales was a meanie before the D word happened. Yeah. Okay. Let's keep going. So, Sarah might soon run out of patience waiting for her to look at you. Oh, look. Okay, so interesting you talk about Kino Casino, because I only just discovered them last week when they were talking about a certain streamer and a certain other streamer who had an argument. Now, I gotta say that I knew Kino Casino existed, in that Alyssa clips them and you see a little bit of them talking about Ricada. And I thought they were kind of silly. And fair enough, like, their streams aren't meant to be taken very seriously. I didn't really think much of them. That's fine. It's not really my cup of tea. But then I saw them talking about this particular argument between two streamers that I know, and it made me think. It made me think about something that I've learned over my time streaming. And that is this, that 99% of people on YouTube do not know about your issues unless you tell them. They don't know about the arguments that you're having between other people. They don't know about the little misunderstandings and the things that are going on in your DMs and the things that are happening backstage. They just don't know. And they're not going to know unless you tell them. And then if you choose to tell them, stuff blows up. Yeah. So yeah. The way he portrayed Kurt's reaction. Okay, I don't know what you guys are talking about. I'll go back a little bit. Could they at least stop yelling? Oh, that's what they do. That's what they do, half Irish. Yeah, and no, they did take it out of context, and I think they kind of knew they were taking it out of context. There was no PS5. That's actually a meme. I found out that's actually a meme. They were kind of funny. Got to admit. Kind of funny. But look, here's the thing, right? If you choose to tell people about the arguments that you're having with others, then they will dig further and they will find out, right? So here's the deal. I have been, unfortunately, in a situation. I've been in a few situations. I've been streaming a year now, and in that year, I have been in probably about 5 or 6 situations where I've been this close to either stopping streaming, or I've had people say to me, oh, you need to expose this person. You need to go online and tell everybody about this thing that's happened to you with this other streamer, right? And that would have been me doing drama, right? That would have been me creating a giant, big thing, right? And I've been this close to either taking that advice or just leaving. And I tell you what, I am so glad I didn't. Right? So glad I didn't. To a point, like it's happened just recently. I've had just someone recently come at me, even in the like, I've just lost my dad. Right? I just lost my dad less than a month ago. And even I've had someone who knew fully well that I've been grieving for my dad and yet still came after me in my DMs, on my Discord, in other chats, has come at me, calling me all sorts of terrible things, telling me that I am fake and that they know all sorts of things about me and that they have all these receipts on me and that I'm just god awful. Even when I block them on one platform, they come after me on another platform and try to tell Dali to stop streaming with me and all that kind of whatever. But you know what? I'm not going to name them. I'm not going to make a big thing about it. As far as I'm concerned, they're blocked. They're gone. They're nobody. So, yes, the hella show. I could make a big drama and I could get their face up here and but you know what? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It means nothing in the long term because I've learned that if you tell everybody about all the ins and outs of that, if I go and get all I could right now, I could go and get all of their chats up on screen and I could get their profile up and I could get all the DMs up and I could be like, oh, look at this person, no. I could do all that, but A, that would make me petty, and B, it'd be drama. And there's no need for it. Because then everybody would know, everybody would be like, it'd be a big thing. It'd be a big thing. It'd make a big deal out of something that's over. It's over. That person can go on with their life. It's fine. Like, I probably annoyed them. I've probably been annoying this person for a while. We're probably not meant to be friends. It's okay. Everyone doesn't have to be friends. It's all right. They're probably going through their own things. I can live with that. And you know what? As a content creator, you put yourself out there and you have to accept that there's going to be people who don't like you. It's really, really simple that way. You can't be everyone's bestie all the time. You can't be everyone's close mate in their messages all the time. You can't be reacting to their needs all the time. You can't always be giving them hugs when they want, all that kind of stuff. And I don't expect that from people all the time. And they can't expect that of me, unfortunately. So I'd like to hear people's thoughts on that. But I also think that it's a little bit of what causes drama sometimes when people expect content creators to live up to this idea of being their friend, especially when they get a bit bigger. Like I've got quite a small little community of people chatting and in our Discord, Dali too. But when creators get to have a bit of a bigger following, it's harder for them to have that one-on-one connection with everybody in their chat and like in their Discord and their community. And people can get their noses out of joint because they're like, oh, well, I'm not getting as much attention as so-and-so. And why are they getting to be a mod? And all that kind of thing. And or she or he used to be more accessible to us than now, but now that they've got more followers or subscribers or whatever. And then drama can happen because of that. I'm into my Discord. Oh, good. It's stupidly easy to spin up new accounts, so I can imagine it's annoying if someone really wants to harass. Yeah, it is, Wikibookie. It is. It's really hard. If someone really wants to harass you, they can just make more and more accounts, and you don't even know who they are. You have to be really on your guard. So if I think that somebody really wants to bother me, I'm like constantly looking out for new people coming into chat. Like, does that sound like so and so? Then you got to sort of just be cool about it and just be like, well, things are going to happen like that. Half Irish, you're so awesome. I say it again, let me at him. You're so great. And I've got, in moments like this, I have to look at these situations and go, you know what? Yes, there are some people out there who hate my guts and are ready to just say whatever about me at the very worst times in my life. But then there's people like you, Half Irish. And I just need to be so grateful for people like yourself who are just there through thick and thin. So I need to focus more on that. And I do. I focus on that. The drama is why I rarely give opinions on hot button issues. Too easy to get reamed out of context or out of context commentary. Yeah. There's that, cowpoke, right? But then also, I find it tricky because it's like, should it's like me as a creator, right? Should I always have to just be on the fence and not offend anybody, like not have an opinion, not be able to comment on something like the racket situation, right? Like with Ricada. So I was talking to Sean about this backstage the other day, and I said to him, so I covered, this is when I just had done a little bit of the Ricada coverage on Hearsay for Days, not the full stream, just the little piece of rackets coverage. I said I'd done some coverage of it. I said I was a little concerned because, you know, I've got friends who are really close with him, like Branka, for example. And he said, don't worry about it. Like, you do what you need to do. Like, you're respectful. Like, cool. That's cool. That's cool. Yeah, so this whole idea of not being able to rock the boat is interesting to me. Like, I went through a period of feeling like I just couldn't say anything. I just can't say anything without causing some drama and therefore being ostracized from this group. Right? Sarah. Just not being able to say a word. And now I'm over it. I'm just done with it. It's like, nah. I feel like I have learned enough that I can have an opinion and still be respectful to people. Yeah. So this whole, the other thing I wanted to say is, or to have a little discussion with you guys about, is this whole idea of Lawtube. And hello, SL Connolly. Good to see you here. Welcome back. I met SL Connolly the other day on my stream with Fancy. Don't think SL Connolly is a big fan of Fancy. Good to have you back. What's this? My mum gets angry with the larger YouTubers. When they were smaller, they used to read her messages. Now they don't. I've had to help her reframe that this person now has 14K people. It's a whole different dynamic. So if you go into a chat that has 14,000 people or even 1,000 people, or even 500 people, it's just a different dynamic. You just got to accept that it's tricky for them, and they have to reprioritize how they deal with that chat situation. Okay, so yeah, I wanted to talk about this Lawtube thing, right? Because Nick Recator the other day came back to streaming just really briefly and did this local stream. And on this local stream, he had like a 1-minute rant about how he never wanted to be part of a thing called Lawtube. He says quite eloquently, as he does, that if you're in a thing called Lawtube, then any lawyer can get up and be part of it, and you can't filter out the retards or something. As he does, because that's what he says. And yeah, in true Nick fashion. And I was kind of joking in my title, does Lawtube need a rebrand? Because there's so much drama. And yeah, God, there's been a lot of drama lately. But there's always drama. There's always someone called someone else a C word or something like that. And actually on Kino Casino the other day, they said Lawtube is just the sector, but with ties. Now, I don't really understand what the sector is. I think it's something to do with comic books, maybe. But I think it's just people screaming at each other. From what I've seen, it's just people like that hate on each other and scream at each other all the time, I think. Yeah, someone correct me if I'm wrong. Yeah, I know Hercel Conley. I could tell you're not a fan of Fats. I think you're cool. I like you. You were pretty cool about it though. Like, you were asking good questions. So that's why I was like, yeah, I'll bring you up. Yeah. If you don't love me, may the leprosy of 1,000 armadillos invade your nipples. You're funny, Zach. Yeah. Rackets quit Lawtube as soon as EDB named it. Yeah. Yeah, I think that's what happened. Like, he said he was never really part of it because he also said that he didn't want to be part of something that was like a profit sharing kind of model, because someone said to him, oh, can you make that happen? And he said he doesn't want any kind of part of any kind of headache like that, which makes complete sense. That makes complete sense. The sector is dumb, best to avoid it. Sniffles. Do you think you could just, like, in a chat or two, explain what the sector is? Because I've got no goddamn idea what that is. Like, that makes zero sense to me. Like, what is it? Is it, like, what's the topic? Is it the comic book creators, or is it like gaming, or what? Just what? I don't know what it is. I was so annoyed with myself because I missed your Sarah Boone episode. I've been so obsessed with that case. Oh, go back and watch it, Trina. And nice to have you here. Nice to have you here. It was hilarious. That Sarah Boone stream, well, the hearing was ridiculous. It was great. Even with all the drama with Lawtube, I've learned a ton from them. Oh, yeah. Like, the fact Lawtube exists, or just that lawyers, etc., are reacting to trials, the fact that exists is a great thing, I think. Like, and the reason I think it's a great thing is because look at the commentators on Court TV and Law and Crime. They are idiots. Sorry, they're fools. They are absolute fools. They're fools. They don't know what the hell they're talking about. Like, they say they're lawyers. They haven't practiced in God knows how long, and they're so biased. They are so biased. I don't know if any of them are defense lawyers. I don't know if any of them have practiced defense law, like, ever. And they get these experts on their panels who, I don't know what they're experts in, other than, like, looking in the mirror But for example, like I pulled up a piece by News Nation the other day, and I know that's not law and crime or whatever, but this is like mainstream, and they did a piece about Brian Koberger and the most recent round of hearings, and they had some experts on the cell tower data. They had no clue, absolutely no clue about what is missing in the discovery at the moment. Zero. And they had, the experts they brought in were like Cy Ray, the defense expert that is currently or testified just recently, runs rings around the experts that were brought in by News Nation. And then you've got someone like Julie Grant over at Court TV. She is just a fool. You can see what she's been saying about Karen Reid. It's ridiculous. So to have really learned lawyers like Sean, potentially criminal, like Andrew Branca, who is just an expert on self-defense law, like our David Helm, when he was reporting or covering the Crumbly case, he'd been following that from the beginning. So to have lawyers like that covering these trials rather than just having to rely on these mainstream outlets who are just glossing over the facts, that's great. It's fantastic. So I think it's excellent. But then to have their reputations kind of tarnished by all this drama that occurs, like what's going on with Nick, unfortunately, and then to have their arguments between one another sort of become the story. You know what I was saying before about content creators becoming the content? I know it makes money, but yeah, it's just something to think about. It's just something to think about. Runkle was very angry at that Rust panel. Oh, you mean, was that on Law and Crime? I couldn't believe CrimeCon had a panel that dragged Helena Hutchinson through the mud and blamed her for her own death. Did they? Don't get me started on that. What case? Nut case. Oh, nut case. Anyone called expert is questionable anyway. I agree. Yep. There's some idiots called expert out there. Cy is amazing. That dude is, he's a bit of a genius, really. I've been watching him on his own channel. It's called Mind Blank. He has his own true crime channel with his wife. I'll come back to it. But yeah, he really, his CV is something else. And he's only ever testified for the prosecution. So to pull him down now and say that he's not credible is ridiculous, considering that the state and federal government have been relying on his testimony for years. Please. It's ridiculous. The three main sponsors of CrimeCon were Law and Crime, Court TV, and News Nation. There you go. Hey, online, how are you? Peter did a stream with his pops today about Young Thug. Oh, I need to watch that. I saw him yesterday saying that he was going to be doing that. And Peter's great. Having someone like Peter and his dad commenting on these trials is fantastic. It's fantastic. And you know what? Peter had, I think, 16,000 people in his live stream yesterday for the Proctor cross-examination of the Proctor direct. 16,000 people. That's nuts. That is nuts. Right-wing centric YouTubers and commentators years back, the sector is mostly remnants of that and IBS era, internet blood sports, Spurgs yelling at each other, doxing, swatting, etc. Yeah, okay, I get it. So this is so Kino Casino was saying that Lawtube is basically that with ties, which is not what you want, is it? It's not what you want, because Lawtube is a bunch of really well qualified lawyers. They make jokes and stuff. Yes, they're very entertaining, but they are giving us something that we can't get from the likes of Law and Crime, News Nation, and Court TV. And that is a completely different and more in-depth coverage of these court cases. So what I was, and it's just something to discuss, and that is that does it kind of need an overhaul? Like, do we need to rethink this? Dali, thank you for the gifted memberships. Thank you so much for that. Disney Nerd, Angelica, CG in Texas, SL Connolly, you've got a membership, and Sweet Tooth Fairy. If you get yourselves onto our Discord, go to the member tab and click on the perks. We're going to have a bit of a chat afterwards in the Discord in our most definitely we'll be doing that. So what's it called? In our voice chat. We're going to be having a chat afterwards so everyone can actually talk, not just me. Yeah, so we'll do that afterwards. Okay. Yeah. And the other reason why I thought maybe it's time, like, no one's going to stop saying Lawtube. People are going to keep saying Lawtube. You can't stop people from saying Lawtube. But maybe it's time for another word, and Half Irish has come up with a great word, and that is trial tube. The reason trial tube, I think, should exist is because, a little bit selfishly, there are other people like myself who aren't lawyers who don't really want to be true crimers. Yeah, we don't really want to be true crimers. Why don't we want to be true crimers, guys? You like trial tube? Cool. Okay. The reason we like trial tube, and this is Half Irish. Well done, Half Irish. Great name. Great name. I don't know if anyone's ever come up with this before, but I'm giving it to Half Irish. Giving it to Half Irish. Right. Okay. So 2 reasons. Firstly, yes, there are people like my good self, like Dali. There are a bunch of others who aren't lawyers, but we hang out with lawyers. We often have lawyers on our panels, or we go over onto lawyers' streams. Like, I often hang out on David's stream. I hang out on Nick Staro's stream, hang out on Sean's stream. So we definitely appreciate the input of lawyers. We know where the line is, as in what we know and what we don't know. But we're not lawyers. We don't say that we're lawyers. But we're not true crimers, right? So what's a true crimer? Lawtube adjacent, trial tube. Yeah. So, and I'd actually put Brandy into this category now. I know she likes to say she's a true crimer, and I'm sure that's fair enough. That's where her roots are. Now, Brandy Church, well, definitely she always was a true crime streamer, content creator. She's really changed the way she presents her information. Not just that, she's changed the way she thinks, I believe. And it's because, I'm not going to speculate on why, but she used to be someone who I feel would be so state biased. Like, she would always be like, okay, this person's guilty, and that's that. That's just that. Right. And she just she didn't seem to be open to any reasonable doubt whatsoever. Whereas now she feels like the opposite, and she doesn't really seem to care whether her chat is against that idea. She seems to just be, no, guys, you need to look at all the evidence before you make your mind up. One really great example of that is the Scott Peterson case, where like Scott Peterson is going for a retrial 20 something years later. There's a lot of evidence to show that he is potentially innocent. It's possible, right? Now, a lot of people are very, very married to his guilty verdict from 2005. And he may be guilty. However, innocent till proven guilty, and he was proven guilty back then, but there's a lot of exculpatory evidence that was not put forth at his first trial. And Brandy actually named her son after Connor, the little baby who was unborn at the time, and one of the two victims. So she believed full well that he was guilty. She was one of the people who at the time felt very, very strongly that this was a correct conviction. But since then has looked into it and is open to the idea that he may have been wrongly convicted. So I feel that is one of the reasons why I've gained a lot more respect for Brandy. And I feel like now, especially her coverage of the Karen Reid case, she's definitely more of a trial tuber than a true crimer. Brandy's research into cases is quite good, and I think she absolutely looks at it with a critical eye. I do not know any of her older work, but I've been peeking in on her since Travis Rudolph. Well, I do know her older work, and let's just say with Zach, for example, she was very happy to convict Zach quickly, like Zach Anderson, and people in our community weren't happy about that. But it was when she came on for a Lego stream with David, and people came right at her and asked her a lot of really tough questions, and her chatters that she brought along too. It got a bit heated, actually, online. It got a bit heated because people were like, well, why didn't you believe any of the evidence to show, well, sorry, why did you just believe flat out that that he was guilty? There was no body, there was no murder weapon, there was etc., etc. And also, why did you believe all of this stuff about him flirting with his counsel? Like, what was all that about? And she handled that really quite well. People in the chat, maybe not so much. So yeah, it's interesting. I'm not sure if you can actually go back and look at that now that David's channel's been taken down. You can see the stream, like the stream still exists. I don't know if you can see the chat anymore, but it was super interesting the way it worked out. And she came back. Like after that, she actually came back, which is interesting. So I'm going to stop talking about Brandy, but it's interesting to me how like someone like that has evolved. And I would call her more of a trial tuber. Although she calls herself a true crimer, and that's fine. You can call yourself whatever you want. Trina. I just want to have a look at what Trina is saying. Just a sec. Because you said I'll look into it, Trina. Oh, Trina. I've got a few crime channels that I'm watching investigations on, but I'm not able to find much information on Dali Rutia. Do you have any information on her case? I really don't think she did it. Interesting. Yeah, we will look into that. Cool. It's so nice to have you here, Trina. And yeah, Dali is my co-host, and we will have a look into it. It's interesting. You want to be called Loretta? Okay, John. Sure. No problem, Loretta. That's fine. We could call you that. Darlene Rusia. Okay. You just got goosebumps. I'm so interested in that case. I definitely need to know more information. Well, we do that here. And that's also part of the reason why so someone, who was it? Was it half Irish and Ronnie, I think, the other day in our Discord, were talking about the difference between what we do here and what the lawyers do, and then what the true crimers do. And that is sort of investigating these cases and then also looking at it from a legal standpoint, but then not doing like the full legal deep dive like the lawyers can do. But sometimes what the lawyers don't do is do like the backstory of the cases. So if you go and have a look at some of the previous streams that we've done, like for example, with Scott Peterson, I have a playlist there called Scott Peterson is Innocent, Changed My Mind. And there is, I don't know, 5 or 6 streams there that are all about the backstory of that case. But then we look at his hearings as well. So we go and we actually watch the hearings this year of him in Modesto, California, and his counsel, which is actually the LA Innocence Project, trying to get him a retrial. So we do both. And I'm not sure many of the lawyers are doing the whole diving into the backstory stuff. So it's kind of like a halfway point between true crime and Lawtube. Now I'm kind of going off track a little bit, but I feel like with Lawtube, kind of like what Nick was saying, any lawyer could get on stream and cover a trial, and does that make them part of Lawtube? And then what Cowpoke said, it's not a club. Hang on, I'll go right to the very beginning. What did Cowpoke say? It's a genre, not a club. Interesting. So it's a genre, not a club. So therefore, is TrialTube a genre, not a club? I guess. I mean, regardless, there's going to be the D. You can't stop people having drama. You can't stop people not getting along. You can't stop people monetizing the back and forth of arguments. And Dali said this about Hella, and here's their DMs and all that kind of stuff. I want to say one more thing about that. You got to take all of it with a grain of salt, guys, because so much of it is not real. People think that everything, well, a lot of people think that everything they see on here is actually all real. Like all of the arguments that happen between streamers are 100% real. And I'll tell you a little secret, they're not. They're not. A lot of it's played up for the camera. A lot of it's played up to get people coming to the streams for super chats, for clout. Really simple, right? Yeah, it's a bit like WWE. Yeah. Sorry to break the illusion, but it ain't all real. It's not all real. It's a lot of it's put on or dramatized. Yeah. Like it just blows over. Sometimes it's kind of like people are a bit grumpy at each other, but then they'll go backstage and be mates, and it just blows over. And people act like it's this giant thing, but it's not. It's not really. Like, they're fine. Yeah. I'll never forget when I went into a late night stream about the Crumblies and was attacked for being the only one that said the jury got the verdict wrong. Yeah, and Ronnie, those people who attacked you, are you still like on the out with them, like, or has it all blown over? That's a serious question. Do you still have a problem with those people, or those people still have a problem with you, or is it cool now? Because honestly, if you just let these things go, and I'm not aiming this at you, but this is just generally, if you just let these things go, they usually just, it's just internet noise. It's when you get on a stream and you make a big hoo-ha about it and you name names, or you bring up their DMs, or you bring up a video of them or something like that. That's when it goes berserk, right? And quite often it's scripted. Like, when I say scripted, the two people know about what's happening. Like, it's like Dali and Hella have giant falling out, and Dali cheats on Hella or whatever. What will Hella say next? And then Hella has receipts. We need to do this, Dali. Only kidding. Now we've blown our cover. No, there was no letting it go. They were hell-bent. I only made the one comment, and after the attack, I left. Okay. Yeah, okay. So there are certain content creators who that's really their currency, right? And I'm not going to call this person out. It's just there's no point in me calling anybody out, because that's just the genre, right? That is just the genre of there's no point in that person, SL Connolly, doing any other kind of content, because the people come to see that. And if that person didn't create that kind of content, no one would come. Simple. Yeah. Yeah. It is a currency. Yeah, absolutely. And that's actually why I don't want to be true crime, because true crimers, 80-90% of them, they trade in that currency of anger and drama, and she said this and he said that, and can you see their DMs and all that kind of garbage, right? So that's just not me. I don't want to be part of that. No. I want to look at like court cases and actual like filings, documents, who's been indicted, when they're going to trial, if they're going to trial, that sort of thing. So that's interesting to me. What's not interesting to me is what social media creator had a falling out with whatever other social media creator, and what they said to piss the other person off, and that kind of garbage. That's just not me. So yeah, most true crimers don't know the legal. Yeah. And I ain't no lawyer, but I'm interested in the legal side of it. And that's why I'm involved with the lawyers, and why I'm a trial watcher. I'm a trial watcher like everybody else here, probably. So, and that's why, SL Connolly, that's why I stopped covering the Gypsy and Nick stuff, because we ran out of legal content. We ran out of, we watched all of the Nick Godejohn trial. We covered all of the appeal stuff for Nick. We looked at his post-conviction relief. We looked at his appellate documents. We had lawyers on to break all that stuff down. And it got to a point where we just ran out of legal content and it just became all gossip about Gypsy and Nick, and we were bored. So the only reason we did that stream the other day was because there was a lawsuit involved. Yeah, that's why. So yeah, we're not true crimers in that sense. So anyway, what's this? True crime fan base fall into 2 categories in FB groups: burn the defendant, and what's this? What? Hybristophiliacs. What's a hybristophiliac? What? I don't know what that means, Cowpoke. What's that mean? Explain. Okay. I can't Google right now. I can't copy and paste that. Women who love, like Mandy. Like Mandy? Yo. Someone's actually, yes, like Mandy. Yeah. If you don't know who I mean, you got to go look at our Murdoch Males streams. Mandy. Yes. Oh, like Dali. All right. If you're not a member, make sure you're a member, because and get onto our Discord, because we're about to go in there and everyone can come chitty chat, not just me. And if you can't find our Discord, you need to go to the member tab, and underneath the member tab, go to perks, and there's a link there. And there's also a little teensy weensy video, only takes 3 minutes. If you don't get straight in, then just all you have to do is sync up your YouTube account with your Discord, and you'll get straight in with no problems whatsoever. If you're still having any problems, please tag Megamod at Megamod when you get through to the Discord, and you'll be in. Give me a couple of minutes and I'll be there in the chat room. John and Dali, would you guys mind setting up the chat room? And we'll all come in there and have a good old chitty chat chinwag, as we call it in Aussie land. If you're not a member, make sure you're a member now. I think everyone here is in. Thank you so much for the 5 gifted memberships, Dali Talk. You're a legend. Love ya, my bestie. Welcome to the new members. And yeah, that's about it. Love you guys so much. All right, see you in there. See you in there. Oh, you know what? One more thing before I go. This. Her name was Helen. She was an Aussie. She was a fake lawyer from the future. She got on YouTube.